What up, Entourage? The moment you all have been waiting for. Now, truth be told, I just did this rankings like 2 seconds ago before I came on live. I literally spend the whole day changing. Jacobs, Mixon. Oh, I like Eckler today. Tomorrow I like Kamara. Oh, tomorrow Kamara got an epidural. Oh, it's that close. It's that close. It's not me flip-flopping. I mean, I guess it is, but it's just because it's that close. You could literally make a case from running backs 3 to 15 to be in that top 10. And the slightest thing can change that just because it's that close. There's a lot of talent at the running back position, especially on top, which is why I recommend you guys do not go with a wide receiver early and wait in the middle rounds, because on the flip side, there's a lot of wide receivers in those middle rounds that I think could be just as good, if not better, than the wide receivers that are going before them. Well, guys, let's not waste any more time. And remember, guys, this is it. This is it. Half the fantasy world is drafting right now or this weekend, guys. Don't go in there empty-handed. I literally am giving you everything. My draft kit is the key to life. No, okay, I'm exaggerating. But no, seriously. Busts, sleepers, rankings, tiered rankings. Target players, what rounds to get them. Consistency charts, coaching changes, how that affects everybody. And guys, not only am I going to get you in there prepared for your draft, but this week only, I'm also including in-season premium content, which means you'll have rankings every week. You won't have to guess who to start or sit. You'll have exclusive articles for the waiver wire, so you're always one step ahead. This stuff ain't gonna be free this year. I'll give some stuff for free as far as the waiver wires. I'll give you a couple, but if you want to get deep, this is for the professional. Usually I have the number one waiver on average two weeks ahead. You don't believe me? I had DJ Shark when he was an afterthought. I had Raheem Mostert when he was an afterthought. It's true. So if you want to get in on this, it's only $30. Leave a comment, DM me at the fantasyfootballrapper on Instagram, email me fantasyfootballrapper@gmail.com, or hit me up on Twitter at IamFFRapper. Well, guys, the reason you're here, let's get into it. Starting with my number. Let's start with actually number one, because everybody knows that, so it's more suspenseful if we end with 10. So my number one running back, I'll keep this brief. The reason I picked CMC over Barkley, and I'm going to start off by saying this, I have no problem with anybody that wants to choose Barkley over CMC. For me, I don't have the first pick in this year's draft, but I'm such a Barkley believer. Like, I really love his talent that, it's neck and neck. If they use Barkley like they use CMC, I think he could do CMC numbers, if not better. He had like 90-something receptions his first year. Even last year, I think he had 70-something. He missed some games, and then he's a better runner than CMC. I think the Giants are going to be a lot better this year, and I'm supposed to be talking about CMC, I guess. So why am I talking about Barkley? But CMC is just like ridiculous. He's just so safe. He doesn't get injured. Tremendous pass catcher. He is the Carolina Panthers, focal point. He is their offense. He makes that engine run. And, in most situations, I would say a team that loses Scott Turner, that's bad news. But they possibly replace Scott Turner with like the next Sean McVay. I really like what I see about this from this offensive coordinator, Joe Brady. I like what he says. Remember, guys, I go the extra mile. I study these coaches like I study these players. And there's certain things that I look out for. And what he's saying, getting his best players the ball, getting them out in space. And you add that with the fact they're going to be down a lot. And he's a pass catcher. He's not going to leave the game. It's one of the reasons I like DJ Moore a lot this year. So CMC, because they got Joe Brady, which I don't think is going to be any type of, regression from Scott Turner, then I got to go with CMC number one, because Jason Garrett hasn't really used his running backs in the past as pass catchers. That's one of my knocks on Zeke. Then it has nothing to do with Zeke. Zeke's a great pass catcher, but it was only 1 year that they really used him that way. It was 2 years ago. I don't know why. I thought they were going to use him more last year, since 2 years ago they used him, and he was phenomenal. He's a great pass catcher, but Jason Garrett hasn't shown me that history. So, that's why I got to give CMC a slight edge. Obviously, you know who my number 2 is. It's definitely Saquon Barkley. Somebody asked me today, hey, do you think, am I crazy to pass up on Saquon at number 2? And I said, absolutely yes. As much as I love Chubb, I still wouldn't even pick Chubb over Saquon. Just, in a normal world, Chubb would be like the next Jim Brown, but because we're in the NFL where you got 2 other crazy good backs like CMC or Saquon, that's why Chubb is actually my number 3. I know, call me crazy. I get asked this question almost every single day. Rapper, why do you have Chubb number 3? Guys, let's just break it till talent over everything. Let's start with talent over everything. And I'm not a PFF focused guy. I don't even know why I'm bringing him up. But for once in their life, PFF focus actually got this one right. He's the best running back as far as running the football. He's got the highest grade. And that actually coincides with what I see. Chubb's not the fastest guy, but he's got, I think he's like top 2 or 3 in breakaway runs. And that was with Freddie Kitchens as your coordinator, okay? Freddie Kitchens, no offensive line, was the leading rusher going into week 17, and then Derrick Henry went nuts. So, now you plug in Kevin Stefanski, okay, the best possible coach for running backs. You draft a mammoth of a left tackle, okay, Wirfs, in the first round. No, who they get? Not Wirfs. I always get these 2 confused. Anyway, they got a big left tackle, arguably the best one. Sorry for the brain fart. And then you got arguably the best right tackle in free agency, Jack Conklin. You signed 2 fullbacks. So you got a zone scheme. You got fullbacks blocking for this number 1 runner in PFF. You got an upgraded offensive line. You're going to have an upgraded offense. Oh, but Kareem Hunt scored him in 6 out of 8 games. Okay, first of all, that was the old regime. That's number 1. Second of all, the only thing Chubb was... I saw... Shout out to... what's this guy's name? Upper Hand Fantasy. I saw his video today on Chubb, and it said that Chubb had 15 rushes inside the 5-yard line, and he scored on 2 of them. You don't think that's going to improve? I bet you it does. So, and then even with Kareem in the lineup, Chubb would have still been on pace for like 30 receptions. Look, I'm not expecting Chubb to catch 90 balls, 70 balls, probably not 50 balls. But give me 17 to 1,800 yards rushing, which I think he could do because he almost had 1,500 with Freddie Kitchens. And then give me another double-digit touchdowns, and 30 receptions will be plenty to garner a top 3 finish. And I think those are like his floor numbers. I think he could easily catch more than 30 balls. I think he could easily get more than 1,700 rushing yards. I think he could easily get more than 10 touchdowns. I think he could have like 15 to 18 total touchdowns. So that's why I have him 3. And also, he's super safe. Maybe not to you guys because you think Kareem Hunt is going to be a big threat. But guys, I got news for you. It's not about being a workhorse back. This is not 1990. Emmitt Smith is not the leading rusher. There's no such thing as a workhorse, for the most part, unless you're CMC and Barkley. That's why they're my first 2. But, I mean, even Derrick Henry was not a 3-down back. Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, even Joe Mixon. Only 5 running backs had over 70% of the snaps. And 2 of them ain't even in the top 10. It was Bell and it was It was Bell and Todd Gurley were 2 that had over 70% of the snaps. And I think CMC, I forget, it might have even been Chubb. So volume doesn't always equal production, especially when you're a pass catching back, because those touches are more efficient than carrying the football up the middle. Austin Eckler's touches are worth more than Derrick Henry touches per touch. Okay? So just get that out of your head, because when you find out who my next people are going to be, you're going to freak out. So keep that in mind. I want you to watch this video with that lens. Aaron Jones was top 5 part-time. Eckler was top 5 part-time. Okay, guys? Kamara, same thing. All right, so my number 4, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon, I mean, what can you say about Joe? This guy, do you guys watch football, by the way? Have you ever seen Joe Mixon run? Joe Mixon, like, I start hurting when I watch him run in the TV. This guy pound, like, he's the one that inflicts the punishment on his defenders. And that was with I think Joe Mixon had the worst offensive line in the history of football. No, I'm not fucking exaggerating. I'm being straight up. They lost their starting right and left tackle, Jonah Williams. They lost their backup left tackle, who was the starter the previous year. I forget his name. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not prepared. I'm just going off the top of the dome. That's how I do. But anyway, they lost their 2 starting left tackles. There was a point in the season where they had all backups, like undrafted, like every time the ball was snapped, and it's not like they didn't know it was going to Mixon. AJ Green was hurt. They had their backup quarterback. Every time they snapped the football, the defenders were literally in the backfield. They finally get their left tackle back. I forgot. It was like a couple games. Sorry, I got a headache. I get so passionate. And Joe Mixon ends up being like a top 7 running back with no offense, no quarterback, no offensive line. That's a bad man. That's a bad man. Joe Mixon has number 1 overall running back upside. He could be like 2017 Barkley. Zach Taylor, by the way, used to coach for the Rams. So that's why he's my number, what did I got him at? 4? That's why Joe Mixon is my number 4. He could pass, or pass catch, excuse me. He can run the football. I think that offense is going to be a lot better. I love Joe Burrow, by the way. I love Joe Burrow. I love Tyler Boyd. I even love Auden Tate. That offense is going to be a lot better. And the offensive line just can't get any worse. Jonah Williams back, looking good. I'm telling you guys, Joe Mixon. And again, safe. I mean, he's got the migraines, but I feel like it's very hard to find like safe this year. Because look, yesterday, Alvin Kamara had an epidural on his back. I don't like the way that sounds. You know what I'm saying? So everybody kind of got question marks with this whole Fournette. Is he going to go to Kansas City and mess CEH up? Is he going to go to like? There's just a lot of mess right now, which is why my number 5 running back. Now this guy's been all over my board, and you're probably thinking when I say his name, you're gonna be like, "Yo, the other day you said he was risky." And yes, I get it. But sometimes, like, I just go back and I start reading more and I'm looking more, and if we're being true to the talent over everything formula, then how could Josh Jacobs not be my number 5? That's a bad man. Like, you know, I had to go back and look at the tape, and he runs angry. He's another one, very hard to take down. The Raiders as a whole, their offense is going to be very, very sneaky, okay? They're going to find ways to utilize Henry Ruggs. That's going to drive defenses nuts. They're going to be chasing them all around like they do with Tyreek. That's going to open things up for Jacobs. The offensive line's phenomenal. He's lost weight. He says the shoulder is completely healed. He said he's been running receiver routes. He's been learning the techniques of receivers. He's saying all the right things. And again, at first I was a little taken back. I'm like, well, you know, the Raiders signed all these third down backs. They have Rashard. They drafted Bowden. They signed Theo Riddick. But at the end of the day, Jacobs is still going to have a role. He's going to have a significant role. And he's not going to catch any less than what he caught last year. And last year, he was still, you know, almost an RB1 in points per game with 50% of the snaps. all signs point towards Jacobs, trending up. And that's why I put him there. Because, again, he's not safe. I have a little bit of concerns about the shoulder because John Gruden ran it. This is a perfect example, guys. He had 50% of the snaps, but I was looking through his game log, and he had games where he had 26 carries, 28 carries. Now, sometimes it's actually better. Yes, you're about to. It's actually better to be in a committee. Guys, football is a very, very violent sport. Kamara has been top 5 in a committee almost every year in points per game. A committee is not going to stop you guys. If you're a pass catching back, you don't need 25 touches when you're getting 6, 7 targets and you're averaging 10 yards per catch. Okay? Not all touches are built the same. And when you're in a good offense, with a good offensive coordinator that knows how to get you out in space, that knows how to get you open, that knows how to get you to football, it's actually better. It could actually be to your benefit because they're preserving you. Look when they abused Gurley. Broke down. Aaron Jones, they scaled back his workload. Best season ever. So, again, keep that in mind. My number 6 running back. Another guy that's he hasn't shifted all that much. I never really had him in the top 3 to 5. I never really had him at 10. Maybe I did, I don't know. But it's Derrick Henry. And again, he fits that mold. Derrick Henry's a talented running back. And he's not that bad at pass catcher. He ain't gonna run routes. He ain't gonna be CMC. But he can catch the football. And he's shown when they throw it to him, he actually does something with it. He's had some big, long receiving touchdowns. They just don't use him that way. But at the same time, are they really gonna take him off the field for Drayton Evans? I looked at his tape. He didn't show me anything. It's he doesn't really look like a third down back or scat back, but he doesn't look like a guy that could carry the load either. I don't know what's the deal with them. But if they know what's good for them, they're going to keep feeding the beast. And yes, they lost Jack Conklin, but again, I'm bad with names, guys. But they did draft another rookie that's a mammoth. And so much of the offensive line depends on scheme. Tennessee runs a zone scheme, okay? And if you have good coaching, you don't always need those sexy names. So I think Henry's actually going to catch a couple more passes. His workout's crazy. He's a bruising back, but he doesn't get injured. You could tell this guy takes his work seriously, and he is almost unstoppable. So that's why he comes in as my number 6 running back. Now this is where it starts getting a little juicy because you're probably wondering, okay, Rapper, well, where is Kamara? Where is oh, damn. Okay, so I realize now I lost somebody. I forgot about somebody. So I gotta put him here. Yo, I'm literally putting this person here on the spot. They're not even on my list. I forgot about Zeke. How could you forget about Zeke? Well, here's why I can forget about Zeke is I actually don't like him that much this year. You notice I never really talk about Zeke. Now, I could understand why people like him. And some people, they'll say that Zeke is arguably the safest running back in all of fantasy. And I cannot argue with that because the dude doesn't get injured. He's super consistent. But here's why I'm not crazy about Zeke even more this year than years past. Number 1 is Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy hasn't really been that great to running backs. Now, at the same time, Green Bay hasn't really had that many running backs. I will say this, though. He loved Ty Montgomery for some reason. So I don't know if they're going to either use, Zeke that way or maybe they'll use Tony Pollard that way. But the other thing that concerns me is, let's face it, guys, this is football. Most running backs suffer at least one major injury their whole career. So there's two sides of the coin. You could say that Zeke never gets injured, so he's safe, or you could say he's never gotten injured, so he's due. Especially since he has a lot of seasons of over 300 yards. That used to be a curse. You have 300 carries, then you get hurt. Well, Zeke has kind of broken that curse, but at the same time, how much longer is that going to continue? Because you're not injury prone. I'm not saying he could get injured this year, and I would still feel better about him next year, because even if you suffer ACL, I'm never going to call somebody injury prone for suffering an ACL. My definition of injury prone is if you suffer the same injury more than twice. That I keep it really simple, okay? So like Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram, Gronk, you know the names, Will Fuller, they're injury prone. But like a guy like Cooper Kupp who suffered ACL, or whoever, I don't consider that injury prone, because almost everybody gets an ACL. So that's a concern for me. Mike McCarthy is a concern for me. Dallas did take a few hits on the offensive line, but at the end of the day, he's still Zeke. He's still been super consistent, so I can't really drop him any lower. I had him outside my top 10. I just bring him in now, but that was just an oversight, because, again, I can't. But, so Zeke's on there, so I'm going to have to, so somebody's going to have to be left off, damn it. So I'm doing this as we go along. So, since Zeke is out, or since Zeke's number 7, let's go down the list. At number 8, I've got Jonathan Taylor. I know, crazy, call me crazy, but I'm being consistent. And here's why I got Jonathan Taylor number 8. And I think he could be higher, to be quite frank. Because I just finished telling you, I mean, maybe if you're tuning in late, you didn't hear me, but we just said that Austin Eckler was part-time and was top 5. Derrick Henry was kind of part-time, was top 5. Aaron Jones was part-time, and he was top 5. Alvin Kamara is top 5 every year. Okay. And I just got a notification. Looks like Leonard Fournette is going to the Bucs, guys. What the hell is going on? Rojo Truthers. Don't do it. Don't commit suicide. I know you wanted to be right. I know you wanted it to work so bad. Holy shit, it's official, guys. So do I need to put Leonard Fournette now in the top 10? Guys, do you know what that is? Leonard Fournette in a Bruce Arians Tampa Bay offense? I want to know what the hell these analysts, that were doing these victory laps. I told you not to sign Fournette. I told you not to draft Fournette. I told you. Guess what the rapper told you? I want you guys to scroll down. You see, I've been really quiet. I'm letting all these little analysts take their little victory laps. Because here's the thing, guys. I was fading Fournette hard last year. Really hard last year. Okay? But guess who wrote a rap this year about Leonard Fournette? I want you guys to scroll back on my Instagram. Scroll back. Listen to my rap. And it's funny because I saw all these analysts say, and it sounds like I'm taking a victory lap, and I guess I kind of am, but one of the lines in my rap, I said, going in the 3rd round, you got nothing to lose. You know why? They said, look, he was an RB1 last year, okay? He could have been like top 3, top 5 easy if he had a couple of touchdowns. He had a crazy amount of receptions. So we saw what he could do with no touchdowns. And I expected him under Gruden, perhaps, if he stayed with Jacksonville, he'll catch some less balls because Gruden has an obsession with Chris Thompson, which is fine. But I said going in the 3rd round, you ain't got nothing to lose. I knew there was a possibility that Jacksonville could cut him. But I also knew if a team was going to get him, Fournette's a great talent. My thing with Fournette was never about his talent. It was actually more about his injury proneness. And a little bit, I thought he was immature, but I've been watching him. And I've said this before. I was like, Leonard Fournette's a changed man. And he seems more mature and everything, but this is crazy. This is a crazy live. A lot of improvisation here, but I'm not ready to put Fournette in my top 10, so it doesn't change that. But, man, oh man, if you drafted Fournette or if you traded for Fournette, like I told you guys, make sure you're watching me on Twitter at IMFFRapper. I was telling people, go after Fournette. Because I knew he was going to sign somewhere, and I knew he was going to sign somewhere good. He wasn't going to sign with, I don't know. So, guys, if you're going in the third round, you ain't got nothing to lose. Let's go. Hey, I'm happy for all you guys that got Fournette. At least, you know, your fantasy season is not lost. All right, so moving quite along here. So, oh yeah, I was talking about Jonathan Taylor as number 8. I think he'd go higher. So, like I said, we already said that backs who aren't as talented as Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, even Alvin Kamara, I think he's a product of the system. Aaron Jones, Eckler, all those guys finished in the top 5. And they were part of a committee. Now, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Like, if these guys who have less talent were part of a committee and were top 5, why isn't arguably the best talented, most talented running back we've seen since Barkley, why are we not willing to go that route with Jonathan Taylor when he has more talent? He has the best offensive line in football. He has a quarterback that likes to throw the football. And no, guys, I don't want to hear this shit that he had 2 drops in practice. Whip the fucking do, okay? All right? Get over yourselves, all right? Like, I'm not going to drop. Like, I drop people for shit that has me concerned, but having a couple of drops in practice is not the end of the world. Now, add that to the fact, who gets injured every year? Oh, you guessed it, Marlon Mack. So, to me, there is like a 99.9% chance that Taylor becomes the guy. And he's got the perfect start. Week 1 against Jacksonville. They could ease him in, give him 15 to 18 touches. He'll go crazy for 150 yards because it's Jacksonville. That's what everybody does against Jacksonville. It's my number 8. I think I got him too low, to be honest. I'm just being honest. It's my number 8. All right. My number 9. All these guys are so close, guys. I gotta go with. See, I'm even changing my mind in the middle of the rankings. That's how close this shit is. I gotta go with Austin Eckler. Here. And just like yesterday, he was top 5 for me. It's just hard, guys. It's really hard, like I said. But Austin Eckler, you can make an argument that Austin Eckler is the safest running back in the whole round, in the whole first round. Like, this guy is going to be the focal point of that offense. He's basically a receiver in the backfield. He's everything you want from a PPR. They don't give him those bruising carries. They barely give him any carries. He's not going to get at the most 15 carries. But he's going to get those targets. And he's a tremendous talent, tremendous athlete. He is the underdog. He takes football serious. I love his workouts. He's not lifting all these big weights. He's doing one-arm body pulls. That's the type of player you look for in the first round because he's as safe can be. I love that. You cannot say enough about somebody like that. That's going to give you consistency. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I don't think he's going to get that much more touches. But imagine if he is the Austin Eckler the first 4 weeks when Melvin Gordon wasn't there. I do think Joshua Kelly is a great sleeper. He's not only a handcuff. I think he could have some flex appeal. I think he'll be mostly the goal line back. That's what I'm hearing out of camp. And he can run between the tackles. So I think that helps Eckler. A nice thunder and lightning situation. But Eckler is going to be lit. So, I got him at number 9. Okay, last but not least, and this is tough. This is really tough for me, and fine. Honestly, I'm gonna disclaimer here because I forgot about Zeke. I actually had J.K. Dobbins at this spot. I'm not gonna disrespect Alvin Kamara. I think I disrespected him enough as it is. I don't give a fuck about Cook. If you're thinking, well, what about Cook? I'm not touching Cook with a 10-foot pole. First round, bad shoulder. You could come from with Madison. I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to take that risk. You know what? In my big money league, I got Madison. Somebody got Cook. Somebody's fucked. So I don't feel bad about it. Cook's not even in my top 12. So let's get that straight. But here's the thing. I think J.K. Dobbins is a better talent. For sure. I think he's in a similar role to Kamara, where he's going to be he's going to split with Mark Ingram, and he'll probably get around the same touches as Kamara. Kamara's not a workhorse in that traditional 25-plus carries workhorse. But, I mean, let's face it. That'd be kind of fucked up, leaving Kamara outside of top 10. Especially, and he would be higher. It really just comes down to the epidural, to be honest with you. But, at the same time, Alvin Kamara is not going to get you a lot of rushing touchdowns. Receiving touchdowns as a running back is really hard to predict and really hard to come by. So he's going to have to get all his points from receptions. And not that he can't. But, that can sort of lead to some inconsistencies. I think he'll give you a pretty safe floor. But I've seen Kamara go through cold streaks where he didn't score any touchdowns. But like I said, he can. I think this could be the year if he stays healthy, if the epidural is just, and I looked more into the epidural. I heard it's not a big deal. Kamara can rush for 1,000 yards and catch 100 passes. I think he could very well do that. If he plays 16 games, I think he could very well do that this year. So I can't put him any lower than 10. Like I said, he would be top 5 for me if it wasn't for that little bit of news that he got an epidural. Now, honorable mention, obviously, J.K. Dobbins. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. We know at least one of these backs is going to get injured. That's why I kind of built that into my rankings, what I think is going to happen. That's why Cook's not out there. Obviously, if Cook plays a full 16, he's also top 5. I feel the same way about Drake. If Drake plays a full 16, he's top 5. But I think with these other players, like I mentioned, Drake's never been a bell cow, not even in college. So will he hold up? I mean, possibly, but it's far from a guarantee. And in the first round, and this is what I've been telling you guys all along, I'll take the upside in the second round because you know what? You got your anchor at running back in the first round. So if you're at that 12, 13, that turn in the first second, and you could go Chubb and Drake, then I'm cool with that. Because if Drake doesn't work out, you still got Chubb. But if Drake's your number 1, I think that is a little too risky for me. I think Drake could be top 3 because that offense is going to be lit, and Cliff Kingsbury loves to utilize his running backs in the passing game. So honorable mention is Drake, Miles Sanders, I guess J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers. I think even can, because he's going to be a workhorse. Cam's going to be probably a top 5 workhorse because that's the way the Rams run their offense. Even when they said there wasn't going to be a workhorse last year with Gurley, there was still a workhorse. He still was one of 5 running backs that had 70% of the snaps. So, and Cam could be a great asset as a pass catcher. That's where his tape really impressed me. So players like Cam Akers are matchup proof because if they're down, they're going to use him as a pass catcher. If they're up, they're going to use him as a runner. So there you got it, guys. Quick recap of my top 10. We got number 1, CMC. Number 2, Barkley. Number 3, Chubb. Number 4, Mixon. Number 5, Jacobs. Number 6, Derrick Henry. Number 7, Ezekiel Elliott. Number 8, Jonathan Taylor. Number 9, Eckler. And number 10, Alvin Kamara. Subject to change. Don't forget, guys, if you're drafting, my draft kit includes everything for $30. We're talking about rankings, all platforms, tiered rankings by position, who to target, what round, sleepers, busts, consistency charts, how the coaching changes affect each team, do's and don'ts, by the way, for your draft. It's only $30 and you get the in-season content, which is rankings every week for start sits, also exclusive articles in relation to waivers, trade targets, things like that, guys. Please, and more importantly, guys, this is my full-time job. I have no other job, so it's supporting me. So if you love the rapper, let me love you back. Anyway, guys, make sure you follow me, Fantasy Football Rapper at IamFFRapper on Twitter. That's where I'm doing all the breaking news and stuff. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Until next time, you know I love you guys. Peace. We out of here. Fournette!